welcome back to another video. Now today I am going to start answering some of your questions, mainly because there is a lot. I think I'm currently up to around 43 questions on the post, and several of those have more than one question within them. So it's going to take me a little bit of time to get through all of them. I have printed out the ones that I've had in the last couple of days, so I'm not going to answer like all, this is all double-sided, I'm not going to answer them all today, like that would just be ridiculous, but I thought I'd grab some of them, and I will have to pre-read some of them first because they will need show and tell moments. I've got my I'm actually sitting at a portable art studio in my living room, dining room. This is not my dining room table, as you know what my dining room table looks like, but I'm going to be doing a video on a portable art desk DIY. Well, it's not really DIY. John and I hacked an IKEA dining room table to make it a portable art desk that I can move around. I can follow the light. I photographed all the blog post stuff yesterday on here. I moved the table into the dining room and pulled it right up next to the window so I can get perfect amount of light. It means that if I'm having light issues in my actual studio, then I can just wheel this beautiful table around, and I'm going to show you what I mean by portable art studio when I do the video. There are some drawers, I'll tell you how I pack them, what supplies I'm gonna have in there, and all that sort of stuff. So if you're a $15 girl, that will be for you. $10 girls, you're getting these videos because I open the questions up to all levels, not all levels, the 10 and the 15. Losing my mind, it's Friday. And this week has been very, very busy. So you guys will get a couple of videos out of this. So it won't be a huge taster of what the $15 girls get because it's literally just questions. But it'll be something new for you guys to get this month. So I've got my couch bag is here. I've got my leather pen roll. I've got like all the supplies I literally photographed yesterday are around me. So that if it's not a show and tell thing, I will just doodle and play around in my journal while I'm answering them, unless I get really involved in them. So Robin Turner was the first person to comment, and she is a new Inky, and she said, I want to know what your favorite art books are besides 20 Ways to Draw a Tulip. Now I mentioned that in the Jane video, and you guys, some of you have seen me haul it. I can't wait to hear the answers to all the questions. Also, your nails are fab. Thank you very much. If you're only going to see my hands, I may as well make sure that my hands look appropriate. I know there's another question about my nails, so I'll answer that one a little bit later on, but I will go and get some of my favorite art books and I shall show you what they are in a second. Okay, I've grabbed a few of my favorites off my bookshelf. I'm not going to go into huge in-depthness with them all because I obviously grabbed too many. This is the Artist Color Manual, the complete guide to working with color, and this is beautiful. It talks about all different colors, mixing, how colors interact, color families. It is beautifully photographed. It's got amazing information. I am obsessed with color, always obsessed with color. I should probably move these ones out of the way so that there's not so much shadowing. And I'm always looking for books that have color theory and mixing because I want to get better at mixing. And I do have another one in my bookshelf that has color mixing recipes. But this one was fantastic. Quite a quirky find in an actual bookstore. It's not often that I purchase books in bookstores these days. I normally purchase them off recommendations online. Talks about pigments, what kind of color it is, the history behind it, all that sort of thing. So I really do love that one. That is by Simon Jennings. And I know a few Inkies tried to track this down when I hauled it, so I'm not quite sure if you can grab it. I know some people had trouble with the two color books that I found, but I love I just love color so hard, so hard. So, color theory books are always one of my most loved art books. There's that one. Imaginary Characters by Karen O'Brien. This is a relatively, not a relatively new one. I've had it for about 6 months, but it's very quirky creatures, all that sort of thing. I love creatures. You guys know my Nook Dwellers are my thing, and this book reminded me of my Nook Dwellers, and I loved how she put them together, and all that sort of thing. What was this one? Transferring an image with tape. That looks cool. That's probably why I tagged it. But lots of different things, collage, all that sort of thing. It is a really beautiful book, step-by-step instructions. I mainly bought it for the eye candy, not for anything else or to try any of the drawing and stuff. Sometimes I will just flick through these things to get color ideas and expression ideas, that sort of thing. But beautiful, beautiful book, mixed media painting techniques for figures and faces. So there's that one. An Illustrated Life. I absolutely love Danny Gregory. I have most of his books. I've taken a class on Sketchbook School, but I do love his YouTube channel. I subscribe to Danny on YouTube, and he's got great quick videos that just inspire you and get your mind thinking, and I just love it. But this is actually drawing, it's not drawing, it's sketchbook pages from illustrators, artists, and designers. Now, I am such a nosy Parker. I watch sketchbook flips all the time. They're some of my favorite videos to watch on YouTube. I am obsessed with seeing people's sketchbooks, and I collect sketchbooks like they're going out of fashion and that they'll stop being made, and I just keep buying them, and I'm on a self-imposed ban at the moment. But these are just beautiful. My tables. Why is my table being all noisy? I just love it. I love this book. I pick it up all the time. It's usually close by. It's usually not on my bookshelf. It's either on my coffee table in the lounge room or it's on my bedside table. This book, I flick through it constantly for inspiration because it's all styles of work that I don't do. It's nice to see other people's style, how other people use color, how other people use a medium that you might use differently. It's all about, you know, learning and just exploring new artists. I've actually found quite a few artists in here that I do love now but never had heard of until I bought this book. So I have this one, which I do adore. So that is An Illustrated Life by Danny Gregory, but it is a compilation of people's sketchbooks, which I'm totally down for because I love me some sketchbook perving. There's that one. Then we have Urban Watercoloring and Sketching by Felix Schneinger. I always get his name wrong. But this one is just a beautifully sketchy watercolors. It is just so beautiful. It talks about color theory as well, mixing, glazes, all about watercolor. As you can see, I've got like little tabs on in places that I want to remember things. How colors mix together, how you can make mud or avoid mud, that sort of thing. But I really like the way it is. It really appeals to my creative sense, the way it's with all the sketchiness and all the information and how it's portrayed. It makes me want to read it. There are some information books that I just look at and go, my brain is not going to compute that, or my brain is just gonna, you know, do that. What's that? What does hubby call it? I glaze over sometimes. But this book, it is really, really well done. And I have totally enjoyed it. Watercolor, it goes through watercolor pencils. I am always picking this book up. I love seeing things that are sketched, especially art supplies. This just ticks all the boxes for me. It's probably one of in my top 5. The information, everything, the drawings, the color, the way he uses color. I just love it so much. So Urban Watercolor Sketching by Felix Scheinsberger. Anyway, that is what it is. Pause the video, go check it out. It was relatively cheap on Book Depository. So this is one of my other favorites. I've only got one more after this and then I need to move on to the next question. As you guys know, plant life, florals, all that sort of thing is really, really something that I am passionate about and that I love to learn and use in my drawings. I'm always drawing vines, flowers, all sorts of things in my style. So I did go on a bit of a bender buying like plant drawing books, and this is one of my favorites. I do flick through this a lot. There's lots of line drawings, there's lots of photographs of them, mixing colors, mark making, just all these beautiful sketchy drawings. It just made my heart boom. I heard lots of great reviews about it. I watched some book flips of it on YouTube, but it is just such a lovely, lovely book. I did buy I think I bought 3 or 4 books at the one time, but this one has been my most opened and most flipped through when I want inspiration, when I want to try and draw a different plant, when I want to grab a picture and try and incorporate that into, say, an antler on one of my creatures or something like that. That's how I use this book. When I want to add something to my own illustrations, I will look through this and draw inspiration from the line work and the sketchiness and just plant life in general. This might not be everyone's cup of tea, but it's definitely something that I'm very interested in and really want to explore and get better at. So this is the Botany for the Artist, an inspirational guide to drawing plants by Sarah Simblett. And the last one is a childhood favorite. I haven't had this copy, but this book has been in my life since I was a child. My mum bought me a copy, like a beautiful big hardbound copy with the puffy covers. I remember it so vividly, and I don't know what happened to my copy. And I was talking about it on YouTube because I'd found like a diary version, like a planner version that had the images in it, and I bought it from the op shop because I was so obsessed with it as a kid, and I wanted Lily to experience this book. And one of my YouTube subscribers actually sent me a copy through the mail, which I was so grateful for. And so this is this Lady Cottonton's pressed fairy book. Now, this may not be your thing, but I love looking at the body, how they've proportioned it, how they've stretched it, how they've made it so quirky and different. If you don't know, I like the weird and the odd. They're my favorite things, and I really, really enjoy how quirky these books are. That watercolor effect, the beautiful handwriting. I can just imagine the beautiful fountain pens that were used to do this book, but it is stunning, weird, wonderful, and I just absolutely love it. I just love it. Like, even if I don't draw inspiration of it, but this book makes my heart sing. And I assume that's what you mean by favorite books. So it also has cool prints in here, so I want to get them framed, I think. I do. So these ones were sealed because they're a bit naughty. But yes, sealed by Lady Cottonton for the protection of the innocent. So that is one of my favorites. So there is that question. I hope that's helped you, Robin, figure out some of my favorite books. Now that Catherine from Plan, Cultivate, Create asked me, what was your dream job as a child? If you could do anything at all for a living, what is the most extraordinary thing you would choose to do? Favorite books other than art inspiration? If you could pick any other era to live in, what would you select? Okay, that's all for now. So I have 3 to answer in here. My dream job as a child, I went through stages. One of my most vivid memories was a marine biologist because I wanted to save all the dolphins. And that was probably when I was about 12. But funnily enough, after I decided that I was not smart enough to be a marine biologist, I actually wanted to be a children's book writer, and that dream is still stupidly strong within my heart. I want to write and illustrate my own children's books, and that is a goal that I will put in the future, and it is something that I've always wanted to do. I've actually always wanted to be creative my entire life. If it wasn't photography, it was drawing, it was art, it was designing. I know this sounds like, but it's true. That's what I've always wanted to do. My mum nurtured my creative ability from a young kid because she was creative as well. So she always pushed that side of me. So creativity has always been in the forefront. Besides my, colossal dream of marine biologist, a children's book writer was something I always wanted to be, and still do to this day. I would love to be a children's illustrator, but I feel like I may never achieve it because my work isn't refined enough, or not mainstream enough to be bought, whereas I would want to create quirky, weird books for kids that may not appeal to parents. So maybe one day, you never know, there may be a call for weird children's books to sort of spark imaginations in the little ones, because that's what I'd love to do. The way I spark your inspiration, I want to do that for kids as well. So that's one of my things. Favorite books other than art inspiration. So I need to go over to my bookshelf and grab 3 only. 3 max, so I'll show you what I love. So I grabbed 2 because I can't find my other one. So this is Laini Taylor, and this is the second book. I haven't read this one yet, but the first book, Daughter of Smoke and Bone, I actually lent to my niece, which is why I can't find it. I've just sat in my lounge room staring at my bookshelves, but I realized I lent it to my niece. So Daughter of Smoke and Bone is one of my favorite books, and this is the second one, which I need to sit down and read. And I absolutely loved this book. This is about a girl who falls in love with an angel, I'm pretty sure. It's been quite a while since I've... once upon a time, an angel and a devil fell in love and dared to imagine a new way of living, one without massacres and torn throats and bonfires of the fallen, without revenants or bastard armies or children ripped from their mother's arms to take their turn in killing and dying. Once the lovers lay intertwined in the moon's secret temple and dreamed of a world that was like a jewel box without a jewel, a paradise waiting for them to find and fill with their happiness. I think it is beautifully written. That's probably the thing that drew me to it the most. The writing style in this is absolutely stunning. It is, I hope they turn this into a movie. Please go read the Daughter of Smoke and Bone blurb, because it really needs to be made into a movie. It was so vividly written. I love it. I sound like I haven't read it, but it's been a long time. If you read my goals, I barely read anything last year. I actually read Daughter of Smoke and Bone the year before. So that's how long it's been since I've picked up a book. So I will start reading this one. But the writing in it is stunning. And the Poison, the study series by Maria V. Schneider, I have read all of them bar 2, I think. And this one was a great magical thriller. So there's Poison Study, Magic Study, Fire Study, and Shadow Study. And Shadow Study came out in 2015. I'm pretty sure I haven't read Shadow Study, and there's also another one after that. So Poison Study is the first book. I grabbed it off my shelf. Fantastic. It's about a girl that's chosen to taste food for the king to be trained to see if there's poison in it or not, and then it just goes on from there. It is awesome. So these are my 2 books that I will pick for you. I also love Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. That is a bit of a, you know, romantic girly tween book, but I absolutely loved it, and I read it on my iPad, so I don't have a physical copy of it. But those are my 2 book choices. But go and read the blurb for Daughter of Smoke and Bone. I really think a lot of the Inkies would enjoy it, and the way that it's written is stunning. And the last part of the question was, if you could pick any other era to live in, which would you select? I would either pick the 60s, or I would pick like the 1900s. So it's a bit topsy-turvy, but they're my choices. I love all the old world beautiful things. I love that back to basics, living off the land, all that sort of stuff. I love all of that, but I also really love the color and the fashion and everything of the 60s. So there's that. So I'll move these off the desk and I'll grab my journal, and hopefully I can do some drawing while I chat about the next questions. Babette asked me, what are my current items on my wish list? My wish list is not large at the moment, mainly because I bought a couple of things off my wish list recently. And, oh, there's my Moleskine. Moleskine needs a folio, but Rowena's not an Inkie, so she won't hear this, but pass it on. Okay, so my wish list things, those classic-y boxes. that Bum Cushion sell, and I think a few other people sell them. I need one of those in my life. I need the large desk one. I tried to order one with my Bum Cushion order the other day, but they were sold out, and the only size they had I didn't like, so I didn't buy it. So those beautiful wooden classic-y boxes, it looks so lovely. So that is on my, I'm gonna try and insert pictures if I can, see if I can be that awesome. Remember that in the editing moment, Courtney. So yeah, the classic-y box in the large. I think Julia from Julia's Bento has one, but I need one. And I had the Superior Labor pouch on my wish list, but Maria peer pressured me into buying one. No, she didn't. She just really enabled me hard. I had it on my list for a while. It was after I had purchased my pen roll, which I had the pen roll on my wish list for over a year, and I finally bought it. So I've used some of my New York allowance to buy the pouch. So I have that. So that's currently off my list. I'm not sure if there's anything like major. I would really love a leather jacket. It's not really arts related, but I'm waiting to be a smaller size so that I can actually wear it for longer than 20 seconds. So a leather jacket is on my list. I'd really like to design my own pair of Converse shoes. So that's on my list. Traveler's notebook wise, I don't really have anything that I am really wanting except the folio to put my Moleskine sketchbooks in, but I'm waiting to see if Rowena will do it for me as a custom. I think she will because she loves me and I really need one, and I need to stop making my A5 so bulky. I would really love a Franklin Christoph fountain pen, but I'm going to wait until I head to America and either purchase one and get it sent to Babette so she can bring it with her to give me, because the shipping was ridiculous. So that's what I'm waiting for. I'd really love to try the clear one, like the demonstrator, and just the clear, not the antique glass, just the clear. And I'm not sure on the nib yet, but I'd really love one of those to add to my collection. Is there anything else major that I want on my wish list? I'd like some more fluid acrylics from Golden, but I don't need them. They're just a wish list item. I don't need any more Traveler's notebooks. I have enough, but I do really want... That's it. That's all I can think of. Yeah. That's it. Pretty lackluster, isn't it? Because I went and bought the pouch and one of those Robex spinning watercolor thingamabobs that you put all your half pans in. Is it Robex? I want one of them to put all my half pans in, like a epic Lazy Susan of watercolors. Yes, I want one of those. Yeah, but I think the shipping was ridiculous to Australia, which of course it is. It's a massive thing, so it's gonna take forever. Will cost me my soul and my firstborn, and I'm not ready to give Elijah up just yet. So I'm just gluing in 100 things to draw. I found this on my desk when I was cleaning and decided that I wanted to pop it in there as a visual reminder. This desk needs to stop making noises. So I'm just gluing that down. So the next part, next question is Melly. When will you start up the Altered Journal series? I'm at a dead end in my Altered Journal. Also, what is your monthly budget for art supplies or journaling supplies? Now, I've explained this before with the Altered Journal. I try my best, but I'm really shocking at it. To get as much as I can done for Patreon and get as much as I can done for YouTube. Now, obviously YouTube has gotten a lot less attention because first and foremost, my patrons are my most important. They are what are helping me and my family pay their bills and one day own a house. And that is more important than YouTube. And that means that my journal series does take a little bit of a back seat because by the time I finished my commitments to Patreon, by the time I finished my commitments to Jane, I am a bit burnt out. So it doesn't mean that the art journal is going nowhere. But it means that you would take things from my non-art journal videos, like just my journal with me's and stuff like that, and you implement that into your sewing book. You can do anything with that book. It is just a book. I could do all the things that I have done in this journal, tip-ins, transfers, all that sort of stuff. You can do that in your sewing book, in your journal, whichever kind of book you picked for the Alta journal, you can do that. Because at the end, it's not a special thing where you can only do certain things in. It literally is a book for you to play, experiment, document, paint, tip in, ephemera, drawings. It is just a book at the end of the day. Everything that I do in my journal, I could quite happily do in my sewing book, but I choose not to because this is where I want it to be. But my sewing book used to be my everyday journal, believe it or not. My beast of a book was my journal, and that's why it looks the way it does, because I've done all these types of things but within an altered book. So that's why it doesn't look like everyone else's altered journal, because I treated mine like an everyday journal. It's got photographs, it's got notes, it's got lists, it's got art, it's got drawings, sketches, paintings, whatever I felt like smashing into that book, I did. And that's why that sewing book looks so different to everything else that's out there, is because I didn't treat it as an art journal, I just treated it as a journal. So I will do my very, very best to get some videos in that series up for you guys, but understand that I'm only one little lady and I am always busy. So I will promise you I will try my best to get a video up onto YouTube ASAP for you, so that you don't feel that I've abandoned the project. I really haven't. I am just so flat out with work. So there's that. And the other part was about budget with art allowance. Now, I had an allowance before Patreon became my job. I had $100 a month allowance Australian, and that was to spend however I wanted. Hubby got the same. So we got the same, and my kids got $20 each. Now, if they didn't do their chores or they didn't do their homework or stuff, we would deduct money from their allowance. Because we wanted to make them understand that we weren't just going to hand them $20 every month for not doing anything for it. So if they have certain chores that they do, if they chose not to, like they're choosing not to do something, or they're misbehaving or anything like that, we will deduct, 20 cents here, 15 cents there, and we have a running tally. But anyway, so we both have money, and I would either spend it on art supplies or I'd save it for a couple of months and then go on a bender. Now with Patreon, my budget's obviously a little bit larger. My art allowance was increased to $200 a month. Now, I usually didn't spend it all every month, because I've gotten to the stage where I don't need anything. There's nothing that I must have. So things that I've purchased with my allowance that I obviously makes it easier is I would find something that I love, say my Prismacolor pencils, and I've talked about this for the $15 girls. I've had my Prismacolor pencils since Boo was 2. She is 9 this year, so I've had them a long time, and I've slowly added single pencils here and there, but just recently I purchased the entire set. So that's something that I would do with my art allowance that would normally take me a little bit longer, but obviously because I've got a little bit larger allowance, it means that I can do those things. But I would only splurge on things that I knew that I would use, that I have used, and are something that I use on a almost daily basis. Now I use my Prismacolor pencils so much. I like to use them with my watercolors, so I finally decided it was time to buy the whole set. Another example is the Zig Clean Color brushes. These ones, not that one. Now, I had the older packaging. I bought them on eBay really cheap just to try them. Someone was selling them off in bundled lots, and I used them in my Draw My Day videos. Burgess will know about this because she's probably watched them quite a lot. I use these heaps in those videos, a lot. And I still use them lots and lots to this day. So I ended up buying the whole set. So that's the sort of freedom that that allowance has given me. Whereas before I would pick and choose how I spent my money. I wouldn't buy whole sets of things. I'd buy 1 or 2 of things. And I still do that now. I will buy 1 or 2 of things, say like my Liquitex paint markers. I'd buy 1 or 2. I bought the black and the white and the neon pink. and I would test them to see if I wanted to buy more and if I wanted to invest the money into them. That's how I always found if something was worth buying lots of, or just, no, not really for me. Or I'd buy something, not use it for months on end and go, well, then there's no point buying the whole set. So I do have $200 a month for art allowance, and that comes out of Patreon. And I have also use that money to invest in other artists. So some of my allowance I use to buy things from Etsy sellers and say like the stationery selection box from Mitts, investing it into our community. So Fran Nerd is an artist that I love. I'll buy prints from her shop. So I will help other artists with that money. So it's kind of like paying it forward almost. So at the moment, Mitts with the stationery box is who I'm investing in at the moment. And in a couple of months' time, I will switch it up and either use it to pledge to someone on Patreon to help them, or an Etsy seller or something like that, like Kickstarter. Or that's kind of how I feel better about the whole allowance thing. But yeah, that's me being very real. That's how much I use on art supplies, but know that at the moment I am buying next to no art supplies because I haven't found anything that has literally caught my eye art supplies wise in a very long time. The last thing that I wanted was gouache, and I got some for my birthday. So I haven't bought any art supplies since then. No, now that I'm thinking back, nope. But the new Daniel Smith colors that came out that Chandra's got, that's on my wish list. There you go, Babette, that's on my wish list. Forgot about those. I need those. I do, I really do. So moving on, Deborah, have you any favorite traveler's notebooks? Which one is your favorite? Also, as a beginner with watercolors, what class would you suggest one to take and why? The same with drawing classes. So my favorite traveler's notebook. I have two, so I'm gonna go grab them. So this may come as a little bit of a surprise. I reckon most of you expected me to pull this baby out because this is my current journal. This is my A5 Tola Traveler with the natural pocket from Rowena. Sojourner, and it has the card slots at the back and the pocket and that sort of thing. Everyone would expect me to say this, but I will surprise you. This is my Giglio Giramondo in gold. I've had this for approximately 4 years now, and this is in the regular size. I have done a whole video on this journal. It has pockets here, like card pockets here, a slip pocket, and a secretarial pocket at the back. Please excuse my desk, I shouldn't lean on it. And this is my forever journal. I will always come back to this, and I'll probably come back to it once my A5 is finished for a little while, just to finish my volume 4 insert. But I love this, and if it comes to a day where I will pick an A5 as my journal, this will turn into my planner, because I will work out a way to use this baby. It's currently on the shelf after having 4 years of daily use. But my Giramondo is definitely one of my favorites. I love this thing to death. I was bought a wedding gift, and it was a Filofax planner, and I stopped using rings because I was a left-hander. And I asked my girlfriend Nikki, I said, can I please sell this so that I can purchase a Giramondo? And I didn't want to do that without her permission, because I also didn't want the Filofax to sit on the shelf and not be used, and she was happy for me to do that. So I consider this my wedding gift from Nikki, and it is one of my favorite notebooks. I love it. I love how dark it's gotten with all the years. It was so light when I got it, but I have used it so much that it's got a beautiful patina on it. You can see in the light. Yum. So my Giramondo in regular size in gold Apoca leather. Definite first love, soulmate. And the other thing, which you may not think about, but this was the artist traveler that Rowena made for the, she's got them in 2 sizes, and this is the larger size, and this fits a watercolor moleskin. And This was a gift from Rowena with one of my orders, a surprise gift I'd ordered. I can't remember what I ordered. I ordered something. I'm always ordering something from Rowena. And this was a thank you gift for all the, you know, support that I'd showed her and all the promotion, but it wasn't really promotion. It was just me telling everyone how much I love her brand. But it obviously helped with orders. And so this was a thank you. And I had wanted this for Christmas. This was on my Christmas list. This is what my husband was going to purchase me, but Rowena got in first. And so this has a natural pocket, and I'm pretty sure this is the seed or the sand. I'm always shocking. Someone tell me if it's seed or sand, but it's like it feels like velvet. It is beautiful. And in it, I have a large watercolor moleskin, and I do a lot of my collage sheet elements in here for you guys. There was an octopus on here. There is not anymore. And it is one of my very, very favorite, and I consider it a traveler's notebook still. It's got an elastic closure, but you do just slip in the book. So it kind of doesn't count, but I consider it a traveler's notebook. In my head, it is a traveler's notebook to me. But the Artist Traveler has been one of my absolute favorite things that I own. I take it everywhere. This little color was really light when I got it. It's had lots of love, and it has helped me feel like sketchbooks. This thing makes me want to I take it everywhere. I pop it in my bag when I have a big bag. I'm always using this. I love it to bits. Love it to bits. So these two are my favorites. In all my honest opinion, I have tried quite a lot of traveler's notebooks. I've tried a lot of makers, but my favorite makers at the moment are still Gillio and Rowena. And obviously the Midori brand, where it all started. I have a couple of Midoris. I'm just venturing into Foxy Fix at the moment, but my heart will always be Gillio's and Rowena's. So there you go. And the other question was about watercolor classes and drawing classes. I've only taken one watercolor class, and that was Wonderland by Jane Davenport, which was the Alice in Wonderland watercolor class, and I loved it. I did. So I can't really, I've got Danielle Donaldson as a few classes that I haven't finished or like really done anything. Let me scroll in there for you so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just doing some leaves. Can you guys see? Because I'm a lefty. I hate that I'm a lefty for camera purposes. But yeah, I can't really comment on watercolor ones because I've never really taken any. I did enjoy Wonderland, but it is a bit more advanced, and even Jane said that in the class. Drawing wise, I will always flat out say to you, Supplies Me by Jane Davenport. Always. It is my favorite class of hers to date, and I have done a lot of Jane's classes, and Supplies Me has a watercolor section in it. So definitely think about checking that one out. I've watched those videos so much. I always go back to them. I always love watching them. Someone on YouTube who I really love that's a watercolorist is Watercolor Misfit. I really enjoy her style of watercoloring. She does YouTube videos, so I really enjoy her. I think that's it for now. I know Chandra is starting to do watercolor videos on YouTube as well. So there's those ones, but I've never really taken a specific watercolor class. And maybe one day I should. Maybe that would make my skills better. But yeah, I think Supplies Me by Jane Davenport is one of my favorites. Yes, so that's one of my favorite classes. Lisa Bardsley asked me, do you go through the self-sabotage as an artist by listening to the horrid, mean thoughts in your head, if you have had them, of this is crap, you are wasting your time, and if so, how do you quieten the inner critic? Now this is such a good question. And when I read it out to my hubby, he's like, you're gonna have fun with that one. And I said, yeah, I don't know. if you didn't know, when I was in high school, I took art in grade 8. You had to try all the different classes in grade 8, like a tester of all the classes. And my art teacher, Miss Spears, who was a older lady and probably hated the world, she told me in grade 8 that I didn't have what it takes to continue doing art, that I probably shouldn't pick art back up in other grades because I didn't have the talent. And I listened to her in grade 8, grade 9, and grade 10. I listened to that woman. I listened to her tell me I didn't have any skill. I listened to her tell me that I wasn't good enough to take art as an elective in my high school career. I listened to her. And I shouldn't have, because in grade 11 I picked art back up as an elective because I yearned for it. I missed it, and I was like, screw it, I'm gonna take art. And I got straight friggin' A's in grade 8, in grade 11 and grade 12. And then I got accepted into university on my portfolio for art. And I was like, why did I let this woman tell me what I can and can't do? Why? I was so mad at myself for listening to someone tell me that I didn't have any talent, and believed her. And I was just so upset with myself. Now, I do have days of self-doubt, believe me. Now that creating is my income, is my job, coming up with content, trying to think of new ways to do things, trying to be original, it is hard not to listen to those, voices in your head, or the thing on your shoulder that's saying, why are you bothering? Such and such is better. You're not doing very well. Comparing yourself to other artists will kill your joy. And I know it's hard, especially in this day and age. We're sharing ourselves on social media, sharing ourselves in every aspect possible. It's hard not to compare yourself to other people that are in your creative pool. It's hard to just ignore that, keep your blinkers on, and just drive straight. And that's what I've been trying to do. I try not to focus on what other people are doing, especially if they're in my lane, if we're driving to the same destination. I try to tell myself that what I'm doing is working, that what I'm doing is making me happy. And I think at the end of the day, if you're happy, then you should keep doing what you're doing. Happiness is a hard thing to find. It's a hard thing to chase down. And I can certainly say I'm not happy when I'm telling myself that I'm, crap, or this idea is stupid. When I have ideas and I tell hubby about them, and then before he's even said anything, I'm like, oh, it's okay, it's stupid. It's dumb. And he's like, you haven't even tried it yet. You haven't even tested it yet. Why are you saying it's dumb before you even started? And he's the one that pulls me back to the ground zero. He is the one that gets me to rethink things that I think are dumb. So the Whimsy Warrior idea almost never happened because of my inner critic, which I think you guys would be like gasping right now, because the Whimsy Warrior idea started on Patreon, but then it morphed into a Jane video and went pretty crazy there for a while. But I almost didn't make them because I thought the idea would be stupid and no one would love them. So it is amazing that even though it's just what we do. It's self-sabotage is something that is built into my DNA. I have self-sabotaged myself in all aspects, from my art to diets to my relationships, to thinking that I was worth nothing when my ex-husband told me so. But we as people need to do what makes us happy. And if art makes you happy, then you keep doing art, whether you're good at it or not. It is no one's business but your own. If you're happy, then you keep on trucking. And that's what I kind of try and remind myself. Am I happy? Damn straight I'm happy. So I'm obviously doing something And if people don't like what I do, so be it. That's okay. Because not everyone is going to love what I do. Not everyone is going to love, including myself. There will be days when I'll go, you are not progressing at all. You are not changing. You're not gaining any skill. But I just keep on trucking, keep my blinkers on, and just go straight. Because I love what I do. And I'm very, very lucky to be able to do what I do as a living. Stupidly lucky. So inner critics are just cowards. So they're like bullies, and you know, there's a no bully policy in most schools, so there should be a no bully policy in our own minds, in our own mindsets. So I know it's hard, and I don't have any special tricks to quieten it, because I always battle my inner critic. My inner critic and I are not friends, we're not even acquaintances. You just got to put on your superhero pants and beat the shit out of your critic. So I hope that helped. But know that I've had my own inner critics, not even my own voice. I've had someone tell me that I didn't have talent, that I shouldn't pursue art, and if what would I be now if I had listened to that lady, that bitter teacher. And it's actually one of the driving forces behind wanting to be a high school art teacher. Catherine, I actually wanted to be a high school art teacher for a little while there, and I actually looked into it about 2 years ago. Before I decided to really make a go of what I do now. Because I wanted kids to have a teacher that would back them, not a teacher that would tell them no. And I wanted to be that teacher for people. But in a way, I kind of am already backing people and making them aware of their talents and their abilities, and that anyone can be an artist. Anyone. You just got to have the want to be one. Burgess Taylor, who is a lovely new inkie and joined recently. What is your favorite page you've created? What is your favorite medium, absolute favorite supply, and how do you fit it all in? Journaling, home, kids, etc. So I thought about this a lot, because I honestly could not think of what my favorite page would be. Honestly, I don't know, because I went through all my journals and looked and couldn't find something that I absolutely loved and was totally obsessed with. The one that comes close, if I had to absolutely pick one, in my current journal, so in my current journal, this spread is one of my favorites. I don't know why. Sorry, let me zoom out. I don't know why this spread is one of my favorites, but it just is. I think it could be the rainbow swatches, the colored pencils, the drawing, the photographs of showing how my face is changing as I lose weight, pictures of Sam and Sian and us being stupid at 2 a.m. in the morning at Kmart. I think because it evokes memories, and it always makes me smile every time I flick past it. My Weekday Woman was one of the originals that you got in your collage sheets. I don't know, this page always makes me smile when I flick past it. So in my current journal, this is actually one of my favorites, and it's not all singing, all dancing, all techniques. It is just something that makes me happy, and that's what I associate with something that's my favorite, something that makes me happy. So my favorite medium is hands down watercolor, hands down. If you were to say to me, you can take one supply, what would it be? It would hands down be watercolor. So watercolor is my favorite medium. I use it on a day-to-day basis. I am watercoloring something from my planner pages to my journal pages to illustrations. Every single day without fail, I will pick up a brush and I will paint something, or I will slap watercolor down or swatch something. I love it in all forms. Liquid, pencil, half pans, tubes, you name it. Acrylic paint, I water down to make watercolor. So I love, like even these, I call these like a liquid watercolor almost. So watercolor by far is my absolute favorite medium. followed up by pencil or pen, because I love line work so badly, and I can do line work in pencil or pen. So that's, as you can see, that's what I was doing here, line work. Absolute favorite supply, and how do you fit it all in, journaling, home and kids, etc. That is a good question, and some days I don't know how I get it all filled in, how I do it all. Both my kids are at school, which makes it a lot easier to deal with. Having both kids at school makes life so much easier. So having the 6 hours a day to myself to do it all, but there are some days when I feel like I'm not going to get it all done. I do prioritize my time. I do use a planner. I do make sure I try and do something for me creatively every day. And sometimes that doesn't happen. I am working 24/7, what it feels like at the moment, but that's okay because I love what I'm doing. Some days I do get burnt out, and some days I do feel like I have done nothing but stare at a computer screen, especially around collage sheet day. But when you love what you're doing, it is easy to live this life. It's tiring, but it's a good tiring. You know, that feeling of, I've done something good today. Like, I'm excited about what I did today, or I'm happy. There are days when I am not happy, obviously, but because I enjoy what I do so very much, it makes it so much easier to find the time to fit it all in. I will admit there are days when I feel like I haven't given my kids enough attention because I'm answering emails, I'm putting people in the Facebook group, I'm processing things, I'm editing things. Like yesterday, that blog post that you guys saw, the art supplies, I started photographing that at 10 o'clock in the morning. I finished editing that with the links, the typing, the uploading, everything at like 6 o'clock at night. And you would think that would take me 20 minutes. No. I had to style everything, photograph everything. In between that, I had both kids home and hubby because our car wouldn't start. So we were waiting for someone to come out and fix our car, $800 later. So in between me photographing, editing, I was answering emails, I was putting new Inkies into the Facebook group, I was replying to comments on YouTube, I was replying to Facebook comments in the public group, the Patreon group, I was cooking people dinner and breakfast, not dinner, like lunch and breakfast, I was putting washing on. So I am a one-woman show and I just keep on going. But I will say that I don't devote enough time to me journaling without a camera on me. Because I feel like I've constantly got to be recording to get content out, I feel like I don't get enough time to just do my own journaling without a camera on me because I feel like it's wasted, and I need to change that thinking. I need to change the way I think about those things because I shouldn't think that journaling without a camera on is a waste of time. That needs to stop now. But I do have a planner. I do bullet journal. I used to do a Hobonichi, but it's not working for me. So I started a B6 Stalogy as my planner, and I work my list down from most important, like this shit needs to get done today, to the least important. And least important usually is do the dishes because I hate the dishes. So it's hard, but I have made it a routine and a habit. So I am used to being go. But it doesn't bode well for the spirit sometimes. I am really exhausted on some days, and you can hear it when I'm voiceovering sometimes, when I'm just like lying there trying to voice over, but I'm so tired. But I wouldn't change it for the world. Not for the world. Ew, did that screw up my tiki? Oh well, there we go. Just color it. All right, so I hope that helped. I know that wasn't a definitive answer on how I do it, but routine, habit, plan your time in 30-minute increments. That's how I do it. I think I'll do 2 more questions and then I'll stop. How did you begin making YouTube videos, and did you have many people critique you or lots of people asking for more? Now, I had a YouTube channel for ages before I started actually making any content, and I can't even remember when I started making YouTube videos. And I think my very first video is actually like almost like a PowerPoint presentation, like a photo thing where I showed pictures of my kids. It was just when a hubby and I got together, like my hubby, because I have been married and divorced before. And I'm pretty sure the first video was about him, actually. I need to go back and check, but it was a long time. So over 7 years ago that I've been doing this. And then I slowly started making art journal speed videos, and they were really well received. So I have only gotten a lot of critique and a lot of hate as I've gotten bigger. And I have always said the bigger I get, the deeper my hater pool gets. So I have had a pretty stress-free YouTube experience. I don't have huge amounts of hate. I get a couple of comments here and there, and I've had a few people block me. Just recently I've had an Aussie block me, which I found interesting, considering I thought we had stuff in common, but obviously she doesn't like what I do anymore, or she doesn't like that I make a living out of my art, but she blocked me just recently on Instagram, which I found interesting. But I will not name names because that's not what I'm about. But other than that, I have had nothing but support and encouragement, and really, I've made some awesome friends in this whole thing. It has been amazing. I've met people in real life. I met my best friend through this. I met, you know, some of you guys, Sam and Sian, who I consider close friends. I met through doing this. I'm gonna meet some of you guys when I come to New York. It's been amazing. So I can't say anything bad. I haven't had any horrific experiences. I've only had positive ones, and everyone liked what I did, and still do, I hope. And I will continue to do it until people want me to bugger off. So there's that. Nikki Blakesley. I am new to using watercolor and a new inky. Welcome. I was wondering if you could do a video series or a series of videos on tips and tricks when working with watercolors. What types of watercolors you would suggest to get for a beginner? I am considering doing it, but at the same time, the way I work with watercolors is so non-traditional that I would be hard pressed to find a way to teach you. I call myself a watercolor dabbler. I dabble and I play and I work with what my skill set I have. I have not had any formal training at all. And so trying to teach people my way of watercoloring is really hard, because what I do isn't real in the name of watercoloring. But I will see what I can do for you, and see if I can think of some tips and tricks to help. That wasn't a question. I will answer one more. Rashida Lawrence says, I think I saw the Uni Jetstream 1.0 ballpoint pen in one of your stash videos. Do you like it for general writing purposes? Now, is this the Uni Jetstream? So this is the Uni Jetstream in 0.5, and I picked this up just recently in my Japanese bookstore that I went to on the weekend. And yeah, I really enjoy it. And my planner pen, I think I've got it here as well. Is it here? Let me grab it. The pen that I'm using for my planner is of course now I can't find it. Here it is. So this one is a Uni Style Fit. But these pens, they're fab. They're absolutely fab. I've been using this mini pen, the 0.5, quite a lot, and this is the Uni Jetstream. It's great for general purpose. That's kind of why I bought it. I wanted one that I could just stick into, you know, my pocket. This is my planner. This is wet, so if I put it down on there, I will get it stained, and knowing me, I would. So I'm gonna move that there. Stay. So this, I'll introduce this quickly before I go, because I'm pretty sure this video is like 100,000 minutes long. So this is a Sojourner. As you know, I love Rowena and Sojourner. This is a doe, so the light color is doe. I'm pretty sure you can't get this leather anymore, so don't go and harass her. I'm pretty sure this was one of the last ones she did that she had left. So this is the doe with a ibex pocket, I think. So it's a Traveller in the B6 size. I have a Hobonichi, the green stencil, my favorite. And I have some planner like stuff for Boo to get some money back on her surgery, and a blood test that I have to do for my surgeon. And I am using a Stalogy B6 notebook as a bullet journal. So I'm actually going to cover this for a Jane video because I hate the Stalogy books. Like, I know I love the books, but I hate the covers. They really bum me out. So, and I have printed, I was a patron, I pledged to Fran Nerd on Patreon, and at the start of the year she did calendars, so I printed smaller versions of her calendars out as my calendar because I am so lazy. I'm not going to draw my own calendar. I'm not Boho Berry. I'm lazy. I'm Lazy Berry. That's what I am. So I printed them out and glued them in, and that's on the other side. I have like a to-do list for the month. So that's like things that I need for that month I've taped in. So this is relatively new. I literally started this week because I was literally not planning anything and losing my head. So I've started bullet journaling and just watercoloring it, and then grabbing some scrapbook paper or like ephemera paper from my pouch. If you guys are $15 girls, you know the pouch that I carry around with lots of bits and bobs. I work solely out of this and add to it. That way I'm always using ephemera and not just hoarding it. So I've been using that and stamping a like old school library stamp. It's just a plain one, not from the scrapbooking people, just a plain one. And then I use my green stencil to do checklists and things. And then I've slowly been transferring lists that I've made in a A5 Leuchtturm 1917. Okay, I ran out of space on my SD card because that's how long I've been talking. So it gave me a chance to grab my bullet journal that I was using. This was the Leuchtturm 1917. So I have, this is when I decided to try and be cool and like do all the tracking and things. But like I have ideas and things on these books. All these sorts of things. So this was last year in May, and I was using the Spiradex, I think, the Hyperdex. I have the stamps. So this is when I was considering Patreon. Look how good I went. So these things need to be transferred into this book, and I also have a pocket that I cut around. This is a Foxy Fix. So this is my first foray into Foxy Fix. This is the Wanderlust, and this is the pocket size, so the field note size. And in here I have another little notebook that I tote around with me, and this is one of those Hobonichi ones, like the small little notebooks that come in the set. So I've painted mine. And I've got video ideas in here. I've got collage sheet requests. When someone requests something, I write it down. Blog post ideas, journal quotes that I want to use in your collage sheets, video ideas for Jane, frequently asked questions. So that sort of thing is what gets toted around with me. And then I have another Leuchtturm 1917, but this is in the slim size, so that will fit a pocket field notes. Battery's flashing at me now. And then I have a printable from Annie Plans Printables, and this is kind of like a bullet journal, but I have it for projects. So I have Project Etsy, getting my Etsy store up and running, Project Patreon content, so that is me taking down old content and creating PDF bundles for people that sign up after I've taken the content down. You guys are fine, don't stress, everything will be fine. Project New York, Happy Mail I'm expecting, and that Project New York is like getting the kids' passports organized, all that sort of thing. So that's kind of what this little notebook is that I tote around in that sort of thing. So it's meant to be a monthly book, but I don't use it like that. And then that's all that's in there. But I have, between the little 2017 book and this pink one, the A5, I want to transfer that into this B6. and really push this notebook further. So if you want to have a more in-depth video on my planner and how I'm going to use it and transform it and watching me plan in it, or that sort of thing, then tell me down below and I will definitely think about doing a series, well, not a series, but like a video on my B6 planner. I don't usually do planner videos because I don't consider myself a planner guru. I consider myself the woman who's trying to hold her shit together by a thread. But there's that. So that is all the questions I'm going to do for today. So I answered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I did 10. So 10's pretty good. 10's pretty good. I think I might do them in 10 lots. 10 question lots. So if you haven't already, go and pop your questions down below if there's something you want to ask. And I told everyone that I'd answer every single question, so I will do that. I will honor that, and I'll make as many videos as need be to get them all answered. But they won't be like one after the other, because I don't think that's fair. Unless you would like question and answer videos filmed constantly until I finished, or if you'd like, you know, 1 a month, 2 a month, that sort of thing. So tell me how you'd like them to be presented to you, whether you want them consistently, whether you really enjoy this kind of video, show and tell, chatting, working, or whether you'd like them sporadic. So tell me what you want. You guys know that I customize my content to you, what you want. So I will take the majority rules on that. So that's me done. I feel like I need a huge glass of water. My throat's killing me, and I need to pack up my stuff and start working on a Jane video. As you guys saw in my planner, a Jane video has to happen. So I hope you've enjoyed this, guys. Welcome to the $10 Girls. I hope you enjoyed this little sneak peek into my world. And I'll see you guys very soon with another video. Bye! Journal, they don't just sit, and sometimes I do this sort of thing, or I doodle around things, or I make borders around them